My friends, today I want to share with you a powerful concept that has the ability to completely transform your life. The art of ghosting everyone around you. Now, I know what you might be thinking, ghosting. Isn't that just some term used for those who disappear from people's lives without a trace? Well, let me tell you, the kind of ghosting I'm talking about is far more profound, far more powerful, and far more liberating than the common understanding of the term. You see, when I speak of ghosting everyone, I'm not talking about physically disappearing from the lives of those around you. No, my friends, I'm talking about something much deeper, something much more esoteric. I'm talking about the art of becoming a spiritual ghost, a being who exists in the unseen realm, a sovereign individual who is no longer beholden to the opinions, the expectations, or the limitations of those who surround them. And why, you might ask, would anyone want to become a spiritual ghost? Well, my friends, the answer is simple. Because when you learn to ghost everyone, when you learn to transcend the constraints of the physical world and align yourself with the infinite potential of the unseen realm, you unlock a level of personal power, creative expression, and lasting fulfillment that can never be matched by the opinions or actions of those around you. You see, the vast majority of people in this world, they're like puppets, constantly dancing to the tune of the opinions and expectations of others. They're constantly seeking validation, constantly craving approval, and constantly allowing the judgments and criticisms of those around them to dictate the course of their lives. But not you, my friends. No, when you embrace the art of ghosting everyone, you become the sole author of your own destiny. You become a sovereign being, a self-reliant individual who is no longer beholden to the whims and fancies of those who would seek to control or manipulate you. And let me tell you, there is nothing more empowering, nothing more liberating than the experience of becoming a spiritual ghost. Because when you learn to transcend the confines of the physical world and align yourself with the infinite potential of the unseen realm, you unlock a level of personal power and creative expression that can never be matched by the opinions or actions of those around you. Suddenly, the path forward becomes clear. The obstacles that once seemed so insurmountable start to melt away like snow in the sun. And you find yourself filled with a sense of purpose, of passion, and of unstoppable determination that propels you forward. And as you continue to walk this path, as you deepen your commitment to your own personal growth and transformation, you start to see the ripple effects of your actions spreading out, touching the lives of those around you in ways that you never could have imagined. You become a beacon of inspiration, a living, breathing example of what's possible when we dare to break free from the limitations of our own conditioning and step into the fullness of our own potential. And as others witness your journey, as they see the incredible power and clarity that comes from self-mastery, they can't help but be inspired to follow in your footsteps. But you know, it's not just about the impact you have on others. Because when you make the decision to ghost everyone, to prioritize your own growth and development, the real magic happens within you. You start to see the world and your place in it through an entirely new lens. The old limitations and constraints that once seemed so insurmountable start to fade away, replaced by a sense of empowerment, of possibility, and of infinite potential. And as you continue to push the boundaries of what you believe to be possible, as you challenge yourself to grow and evolve in new and exciting ways, you'll find that the world starts to respond to you in ways that you never could have anticipated. Doors open, opportunities arise, and the very fabric of your reality begins to shift and realign in service of your highest vision. Because you see, my friends, when you embrace the art of ghosting everyone, when you become the sole driving force behind your own transformation, you don't just change your own life, you change the very fabric of the world around you. You see, the average person, they're content to just let life happen to them. They'll make a few half-hearted attempts at their dreams, but the moment they hit a roadblock or encounter a challenge, they'll quickly retreat back into their comfort zone. They'll make excuses, they'll blame others, and they'll convince themselves that their dreams just weren't meant. But not you, my friends. No, you're cut from a different cloth. When you embrace the art of ghosting everyone, when you commit yourself fully to the pursuit of your highest vision, you don't back down in the face of adversity. You charge straight through it. You see challenges not as obstacles to be avoided, but as opportunities to grow, to evolve, and to become an even more powerful version of yourself. And let me tell you, that kind of unwavering determination, that absolute refusal to be deterred, it's a rare and precious quality in this world. Because when you possess that level of inner strength, of unshakable self-belief, you become a force to be reckoned with. You become a catalyst for change, a trailblazer who inspires others to step out of the shadows and into the light of their own greatness. Think about it. When you see a ghost, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Power, mystery, and a sense of the unknown, right? Well, my friends, when you embrace the art of ghosting everyone, when you tap into that primal, unapologetic essence of who you truly are, you too can command that same level of respect and influence, not through brute force or aggression, but through the sheer force of your presence, your vision, and your unwavering commitment to your own growth and evolution. Because, let me tell you, the world is desperately in need of more spiritual ghosts, more individuals who are willing to stand up, to speak out, and to boldly pursue the life that they were born to live, more people who are willing to challenge the status quo, to push the boundaries of what's possible, and to inspire others to do the same. And it all starts with that first step, my friends. It starts with the decision to stop playing it safe, to stop conforming to the expectations of others, and to start boldly pursuing the life that you were meant to live. Now, I know that might sound a little daunting. After all, the path of the spiritual ghost is not an easy one. There will be obstacles, there will be setbacks, and there will be times when the temptation to retreat back into your comfort zone will be overwhelming. But let me tell you, the rewards of that journey, they far outweigh any temporary discomfort or difficulty you might encounter along the way. Because when you embrace the art of ghosting everyone, when you commit yourself fully to the pursuit of your highest vision, you unlock a level of personal power, of creative expression, and of lasting impact that can never be matched by the opinions or the actions of those around you. Suddenly, the path forward becomes clear. The obstacles that once seemed so insurmountable start to melt away like snow in the sun. And you find yourself filled with a sense of purpose, of passion, and of unstoppable determination that propels you forward. And as you continue to walk this path, as you deepen your commitment to your own personal growth and transformation, you start to see the ripple effects of your actions spreading out, touching the lives of those around you in ways that you never could have imagined. You become a beacon of inspiration, a living, breathing example of what's possible when we dare to break free from the limitations of our own conditioning and step into the fullness of our own potential. And as others witness your journey, as they see the incredible power and clarity that comes from self-mastery, they can't help but be inspired to follow in your footsteps. But you know, it's not just about the impact you have on others. Because when you make the decision to ghost everyone, to prioritize your own growth and development, the real magic happens within you. You start to see the world and your place in it through an entirely new lens. The old limitations and constraints that once seemed so insurmountable start to fade away, replaced by a sense of empowerment, of possibility, and of infinite potential. And as you continue to push the boundaries of what you believe to be possible, as you challenge yourself to grow and evolve in new and exciting ways, you'll find that the world starts to respond to you in ways that you never could have anticipated. Doors open, opportunities arise, and the very fabric of your reality begins to shift and realign in service of your highest vision. Because you see, my friends, when you embrace the art of ghosting everyone, when you become the sole driving force behind your own transformation, you don't just change your own life, you change the very fabric of the world around you. You see, my friends, when you become a spiritual ghost, when you learn to transcend the limitations of the physical world and align yourself with the infinite potential of the unseen realm, you tap into a level of power and creative expression that is simply unmatched. It's like you've been living your life in black and white, and suddenly someone has turned the color dial up to the max. Suddenly the world is vibrant, alive, and brimming with possibility. Doors that were once firmly closed start to swing open. Opportunities that you never could have imagined start to present themselves. And the very fabric of your reality begins to shift and realign in service of your highest vision. And why is this, you might ask? Well, it's because when you become a spiritual ghost, when you learn to ghost everyone around you, you stop playing by the same old rules that everyone else is playing by. You stop seeking validation from the outside world. You stop allowing the opinions and expectations of others to dictate the course of your life, and instead, you turn your attention inward, tapping into the wellspring of wisdom, strength, and creative power that resides within you. You see, the average person, they're constantly seeking approval, constantly craving validation from those around them. They're like a ship without a rudder, constantly being buffeted about by the winds and waves of external opinion. But not you, my friends. No. When you embrace the art of ghosting everyone, you become the captain of your own ship, the sole navigator of your own destiny. And let me tell you, there's nothing more empowering, nothing more exhilarating than that feeling of absolute sovereignty. That knowledge that the only limits you face are the ones you've placed upon yourself. Because when you tap into that primal, unapologetic essence of who you truly are, when you become a spiritual ghost who is no longer beholden to the whims and fancies of those around you, you unlock a level of personal power and creative expression that can never be matched. Suddenly, the path forward becomes crystal clear, and the obstacles that once seemed so insurmountable start to melt away like snow in the sun. You find yourself filled with a sense of purpose, of passion, and of unwavering determination that propels you forward, unstoppable and unshakable. And as you continue to walk this path, as you deepen your commitment to your own personal growth and transformation, you start to see the ripple effects of your actions spreading out, touching the lives of those around you in ways that you never could have imagined. You become a beacon of inspiration, a living, breathing example of what's possible when we dare to break free from the limitations of our own conditioning and step into the fullness of our own potential. And as others witness your journey, as they see the incredible power and clarity that comes from self-mastery, they can't help but be inspired to follow in your footsteps. But you know, it's not just about the impact you have on others. Because when you make the decision to ghost everyone, to prioritize your own growth and development, the real magic happens within you. You start to see the world and your place in it through an entirely new lens. The old limitations and constraints that once seemed so insurmountable start to fade away, replaced by a sense of empowerment, of possibility, and of infinite potential. And as you continue to push the boundaries of what you believe to be possible, as you challenge yourself to grow and evolve in new and exciting ways, you'll find that the world starts to respond to you in ways that you never could have anticipated. Doors open, opportunities arise, and the very fabric of your reality begins to shift and realign in service of your highest vision. Because you see, my friends, when you embrace the art of ghosting everyone, when you become the sole driving force behind your own transformation, you don't just change your own life, you change the very fabric of the world around you. You become a catalyst for change, a trailblazer who inspires others to step out of the shadows and into the light of their own greatness. And as you continue to walk this path, as you deepen your commitment to your own personal growth and evolution, you'll find that the world starts to respond to you in ways that you never could have imagined. Suddenly, the people and circumstances that once held you back, that once limited your potential, start to fade into the background. The opinions and expectations of others that once weighed heavily upon you start to lose their grip, replaced by a newfound sense of freedom, of liberation, and of absolute sovereignty. And as you continue to ghost everyone, as you continue to prioritize your own growth and development above all else, you'll find that the world starts to open up before you in ways that you never could have predicted. Doors that were once firmly closed start to swing wide open. Opportunities that you never could have imagined start to present themselves. and the very fabric of your reality begins to shift and realign in service of your highest vision. It's like you've been living your life in a box, a cage of your own creation, and suddenly someone has come and smashed those walls to smithereens. Suddenly the world is vast, expansive, and brimming with possibility, and you're the one holding the key to unlock it all. And why is this, you might ask? Well, it's because when you become a spiritual ghost, when you learn to ghost everyone around you, you stop playing by the same old rules that everyone else is playing by. You stop seeking validation from the outside world. You stop allowing the opinions and expectations of others to dictate the course of your life. And instead, you turn your attention inward, tapping into the wellspring of wisdom, strength, and creative power that resides within you. You see, the average person, they're constantly seeking approval, constantly craving validation from those around them. They're like a ship without a rudder, constantly being buffeted about by the winds and waves of external opinion. But not you, my friends. No, when you embrace the art of ghosting everyone, you become the captain of your own ship, the sole navigator of your own destiny. And let me tell you, there is nothing more empowering, nothing more exhilarating than that feeling of absolute sovereignty, that knowledge that the only limits you face are the ones you've placed upon yourself. Because when you tap into that primal, unapologetic essence of who you truly are, when you become a spiritual ghost who is no longer beholden to the whims and fancies of those around you, you unlock a level of personal power and creative expression that can never be matched. Suddenly, the path forward becomes crystal clear. And the obstacles that once seemed so insurmountable start to melt away like snow in the sun. You find yourself filled with a sense of purpose, of passion, and of unwavering determination that propels you forward, unstoppable and unshakable. And as you continue to walk this path, as you deepen your commitment to your own personal growth and transformation, you start to see the ripple effects of your actions spreading out, touching the lives of those around you in ways that you never could have imagined. You become a beacon of inspiration, a living, breathing example of what's possible when we dare to break free from the limitations of our own conditioning and step into the fullness of our own potential. And as others witness your journey, as they see the incredible power and clarity that comes from self-mastery, they can't help but be inspired to follow in your footsteps. But you know, it's not just about the impact you have on others. Because when you make the decision to ghost everyone, to prioritize your own growth and development, the real magic happens within you. You start to see the world and your place in it through an entirely new lens. The old limitations and constraints that once seemed so insurmountable start to fade away, replaced by a sense of empowerment, of possibility, and of infinite potential. And as you continue to push the boundaries of what you believe to be possible, as you challenge yourself to grow and evolve in new and exciting ways, you'll find that the world starts to respond to you in ways that you never could have anticipated. Doors open, opportunities arise, and the very fabric of your reality begins to shift and realign in service of your highest vision. Because you see, my friends, when you embrace the art of ghosting everyone, when you become the sole driving force behind your own transformation, you don't just change your own life. You change the very fabric of the world around you. You become a catalyst for change, a trailblazer who inspires others to step out of the shadows and into the light of their own greatness. And as you continue to walk this path, as you deepen your commitment to your own personal growth and evolution, you'll find that the world starts to respond to you in ways that you never could have imagined. Suddenly, the people and circumstances that once held you back, that once limited your potential, start to fade into the background. The opinions and expectations of others that once weighed heavily upon you start to lose their grip, replaced by a newfound sense of freedom, of liberation, and of absolute sovereignty.
You are the dreamer of your life, and within the infinite possibilities of your consciousness, countless parallel realities unfold, waiting for you to choose the one that reflects the deepest desires of your heart. In every moment, you stand at the crossroads of infinite versions of yourself, each one existing simultaneously, each reality offering a reflection of your assumptions, beliefs, and state of mind. Understand this. The world you see around you is not a fixed static structure. It is a malleable, fluid manifestation of your inner state. The circumstances, the people, the situations all reflect the reality you are dwelling in. And just as easily as you can change your mind about anything, you can shift into a new reality where all things align with your highest vision. The key lies in the recognition that you are not bound by the physical world. What you see, what you touch, what you experience is but the external expression of an internal state of being. When you change the way you feel, when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you step into a parallel reality where that wish has already been realized. Imagine for a moment that the life you dream of already exists. It is not a far-off future, a distant possibility. It is a present reality, one that you can move into by aligning your consciousness with it. The reality you seek is not out there, waiting for you to find it. It is within you, waiting for you to awaken to it. To shift, you must first let go of the belief that you are confined to this present moment or this current set of circumstances. Release the notion that this is all there is. The present moment is simply the result of past assumptions. Your future, your next reality, is already on the horizon, and all that is required of you is to shift your focus and claim it. You shift into a new reality, not by force or struggle, but by entering a state of knowing. It is a state of assumption, a state of belief in the unseen. You no longer need to wait for things to change on the outside. As you change your inner world, your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions, you will naturally move into the parallel reality that matches your new internal state. The only thing standing between you and the reality you desire is your willingness to believe in it fully, to assume that it already exists, to walk as though it has already happened, to live in the end. When you live in the end, the universe has no choice but to conform to your assumption. The parallel reality you seek will unfold before you as if it had always been there, waiting for you to step into it. So begin now. Let go of any doubt, any fear, any thought that contradicts the reality you wish to experience. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and move as if it is already yours. In this moment, you are not bound by the past or the present. You are free to choose the reality you wish to inhabit, and the moment you make that choice, the doors to your new world swing wide open. Step through them. You are the creator, and all things are possible to you. In the vast expanse of your inner world, there are no limits. You have always been the architect of your experience, shaping it with the brushstrokes of your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. You are the conscious creator of your reality, and the world you see is simply a reflection of what you have assumed to be true. If you desire change, you do not need to wait for the world to change first. No, you must first change your assumptions, your perception of yourself in the world. And in doing so, you will shift into a parallel reality that reflects your new beliefs. Every moment of your life is a doorway to a new possibility. Your perception of what is possible determines your reality. What you believe to be true, you experience. This is not a random or haphazard occurrence, but a law that governs the very fabric of existence. If you desire a new experience, a new reality, you must first change the internal world, the world of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Once you do, the external world will follow suit. But many find themselves trapped in the illusion that their reality is fixed, that it is determined by forces outside of themselves. They believe they are subject to the circumstances of the world, to the people around them, to time and space. They look at their current situation and assume it to be their fate, unable to imagine that another reality, one that is more aligned with their deepest desires, exists. This is where the power of assumption comes into play. Assumption is the key that unlocks the door to a new world. It is the act of assuming that the thing you desire is already true. It is not a wish, nor a hope, nor a distant dream. It is a knowing. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you walk through the world as if your desire has already manifested, you are shifting into a parallel reality where that desire is already a fact. But how can this be? How can you step into a reality that is not yet apparent in the physical world? The answer lies in the nature of consciousness. Everything you experience in the physical world is a projection of your consciousness. Your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs. They create your reality. The world outside of you is not separate from you. It is a mirror reflecting your inner state. Therefore, if you desire to shift into a new reality, you must first shift your consciousness. You must become the person who already has what you desire. You must live in the end as if the thing you want is already yours. When you assume the end state of your desire, the universe must conform to it. It has no other choice. The law of assumption operates universally and indiscriminately. It does not care whether your desire seems realistic or far-fetched. It does not care whether your current circumstances suggest otherwise. It is simply the law, and it works with absolute precision. The moment you begin to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are planting a seed in your consciousness. Just as a seed in the soil grows and eventually produces fruit, so too will your assumption grow and eventually manifest in your external world. The seed of your desire, once planted in the fertile soil of your imagination, will begin to take root and manifest itself in the physical world. And it will do so in ways that are beyond your conscious understanding, for the universe knows exactly how to bring your desire into being. Now, some may ask, but how do I shift into a reality where my desires are already fulfilled when the present moment seems to contradict everything I want? The answer lies in the power of imagination. Imagination is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the known and the unknown. Through imagination, you have the power to transcend the limitations of time and space. You are not bound by the present moment. You are free to enter any reality you choose, simply by directing your imagination toward it. You see, the present moment is only a snapshot of your past assumptions. It is not the end of the story. It is merely a reflection of what you have believed in the past. The future, the next moment, is not predetermined. It is a vast field of potentiality, ready to be shaped by the thoughts, feelings, and assumptions you hold in this moment. The key to shifting into a new reality is to no longer identify with the present circumstances that seem to bind you. The moment you let go of the belief that your current situation is fixed, that it defines who you are and what you can have, you open yourself to the possibility of a new reality. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you step into the reality you desire with full conviction, you are not pretending. You are not forcing something to happen that doesn't already exist. You are simply tuning into the frequency of that reality, aligning your consciousness with it. And when you do this, the external world must follow. It cannot resist the power of your assumption. You may wonder, but how long does it take for my new reality to manifest? The answer is simple. As long as it takes for you to fully assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and sustain that assumption without wavering. Time is a reflection of your beliefs, and as you change your inner state, time will bend and shift to accommodate your new reality. So the moment you shift your assumptions, the moment you fully step into the reality of your desires, the physical world will begin to reflect that new assumption. But the key is persistence. You must remain true to your assumption no matter what the external world tells you. It may take time for the physical world to align with your inner state, but you must trust that it is already done. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, it is done. There is no need to check or question it. Your desires are already on their way to you, and all you must do is remain faithful to the assumption that they are yours. You see, you are not bound by the physical limitations of time, space, or circumstance. The world you experience is a direct reflection of your consciousness, and just as easily as you can shift your focus from one thought to another, you can shift your entire reality. The key to this shift lies in your ability to believe in the unseen, to live in the end, and to trust that the universe is always working in your favor, aligning your external world with the assumptions you hold within. When you fully embrace this truth, when you understand that you are the creator of your reality, you will begin to see the world differently. No longer will you feel at the mercy of the external world. No longer will you believe that your circumstances are unchangeable. Instead, you will see the world as it truly is, a reflection of your inner world, a mirror that shows you who you are and what you believe. And as you begin to consciously choose the realities you wish to experience, you will find that the world becomes more and more responsive to your inner state. Doors will open, opportunities will arise, and people will show up who align with your new assumptions. Your external world will shift to match the new story you are telling yourself. And with each shift, you will feel more and more empowered, more in control of your experience, and more deeply connected to the limitless potential within you. As you aware that your current situation, do not be deceived by what you see. Do not let the present moment convince you that your desires are out of reach. Know that the reality you seek is already here, waiting for you to step into it. You are not bound by your past. You are not limited by your present. You are free to move into any reality you choose. The key to that shift is in your hands, and it is already at work within you. Trust in your power, trust in your ability to shift, and most of all, trust in the truth that the reality you desire is already yours, just waiting for you to awaken to it. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you will step into a new world, one where all things are possible, where your dreams are already real, and where you are the conscious creator of your experience. You are not a passive observer in this world, you are an active participant, the central creator of the reality you experience. Every thought, every belief, every assumption you hold is a thread in the vast tapestry of your existence. There is no need to wait for the external world to change first. It will always follow the lead of your internal world. The secret is in understanding that the outer world is but a reflection of what you are internally. If you desire a different reality, all you need to do is adjust your inner vision, change your state of being, and the world will shift to match it. You may be wondering, how can this be true? How can simply changing my inner world lead to a tangible shift in my outer circumstances? The truth is simple. The law of assumption is absolute. The law does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is real, between what has already manifested and what is yet to appear in the physical world. The law operates on the premise that your assumptions create your reality, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. Your imagination is your tool, your means of creating and shifting realities. The power lies in your ability to enter into the feeling of your desire being fulfilled and to remain in that state. Imagination is not merely a tool for daydreaming, it is a powerful creative force. Through it, you can experience the world you wish to inhabit. The moment you immerse yourself in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are no longer tied to the present moment or its limitation. You transcend time and space, shifting to a parallel reality where your desire is already realized. When you truly understand this, you begin to realize that the world is not something that happens to you, it is something that happens because of you. Every experience, every encounter, every circumstance is a result of your inner state. This is why when you change your assumptions, your beliefs, and your internal narrative, the world must change with it. The universe is a mirror, reflecting back to you what you believe to be true. Consider for a moment that your current life, your current reality, is merely the result of past assumptions. The life you are living today is a manifestation of the thoughts, beliefs, and emotions you have held in the past. And just as easily as you can choose to think a new thought or adopt a new belief, you can shift into a new reality. The power lies in your ability to let go of the past and step into the new. Your future is not fixed. It is a vast field of potentiality, ready to be shaped by the thoughts, emotions, and assumptions you hold in this very moment. The key to shifting into a parallel reality is to cease identifying with the present moment. Stop looking at the external world and thinking that it defines you or limits you. Stop believing that your circumstances are permanent or that they dictate your future. The external world is fluid, malleable, and ever-changing, shaped by your inner world. You are not stuck in your current situation. You are free to move, to shift, to step into a new version of yourself at any time. To shift into a new reality, you must first embrace the concept that all realities exist simultaneously. The reality you are experiencing now is just one of many possible realities. Each thought, each belief, each assumption you hold brings you into alignment with a specific version of reality. Your current reality is simply a reflection of the state of mind you were in when it was created. But as you change your state, as you shift your assumptions, you are no longer bound to that version of reality. You can move freely between realities, choosing the one that best reflects the desires of your heart. And here lies the true magic. You don't need to change the external world to bring about the shift you desire. The shift happens within you. It begins in your mind, in your heart, in your consciousness. The moment you shift your assumptions, the world begins to rearrange itself around you. People, events, circumstances, they will all align with your new state of being. The world cannot help but reflect what is held in your consciousness. Let go of the notion that you must fight or struggle to change your reality. The act of struggle only perpetuates the belief that change is hard, that your desires are out of reach. Instead, allow the reality you want to emerge naturally by assuming the state of the wish fulfilled. This is not about forcing things to happen, it is about allowing them to happen. It is about aligning your consciousness with the reality that already exists, in the unseen, the reality that you have already created in your imagination. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you step into a parallel reality where that wish is already true. You are not trying to make it happen, you are simply aligning yourself with the version of yourself who already has what you desire. This alignment is not a matter of time or effort, it is a matter of belief. When you believe fully in the reality you wish to experience, it must come into being. The moment you feel that it is already yours, it begins to unfold before you. But the journey does not end once you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is not a one-time act, it is a way of living. You must remain in the state of assumption even when the external world appears to contradict your desires. The external world is simply a reflection of past assumptions, and as you change your assumptions, the world must follow. But it will take time for the external to shift and align with your inner state. Your job is to remain faithful to the assumption that your desire is already realized, to continue living as if it is already so, no matter what your senses may tell you. It is in this persistence, this unwavering belief, that the magic happens. You see, the universe responds to your faith in your assumption. It does not matter if the current circumstances appear contrary to your desires. The universe does not operate on the basis of current facts. It operates on the basis of your assumptions. If you continue to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, your external world will eventually reflect that assumption. Do not allow the physical evidence to sway you from your course. The world may appear unchanged, but know that it is shifting beneath the surface. The moment you assume the feeling of your desire fulfilled, the universe begins to rearrange itself to bring your assumption into being. It may take time for this to manifest in your physical world, but the inner shift has already occurred. It is already done in the realm of consciousness, and it will unfold in the physical world in its perfect time and manner. When you fully embrace this truth, when you understand that your reality is malleable and that you have the power to shape it through your assumptions, you will begin to live with a sense of freedom and confidence. No longer will you feel at the mercy of the external world. No longer will you feel that your circumstances define you, and instead you will know that you are the creator of your experience, that you have the power to shift into any reality you desire simply by adjusting your consciousness. You are not bound by the past, by your current circumstances, or by the limitations of time and space. You are free to move between realities, free to shift into the version of yourself who already has what you desire. All you need to do is believe, assume, and live in the end. The rest will follow. And as you begin to embrace this truth, as you step into the reality of your desires, you will find that the world becomes more and more responsive to your inner state. The people, the situations, the circumstances, everything will begin to align with your assumptions. The world will reflect back to you the reality you have created in your consciousness. And with each shift, you will grow in your understanding of your true power as the creator of your reality. As you continue to align your consciousness with the reality you desire, you will notice subtle shifts taking place within your experience. These shifts may begin small, appearing as little synchronicities, coincidences, or signs that the universe is rearranging itself to match your new assumptions. Trust in these signs, for they are evidence that you are on the right path. The universe does not operate in a linear fashion, and your manifestation does not follow a fixed timeline. But know this, every moment you stay true to your assumption, you are getting closer to the full realization of your desire. The process of exemplification is often easy to become discouraged when the external world does not immediately reflect your new inner state. You may look at your current circumstances and wonder if anything is really changing. It's important to understand that the process of shifting realities is like planting a seed. You do not see the seed sprout immediately, but you know that the process is happening beneath the surface. With time and consistent nurturing, the seed will grow, and the reality you are assuming will begin to unfold in the world around you. Do not let doubt or impatience deter you. Your assumption is the most powerful force you possess. When you hold a strong and unwavering belief in the reality you wish to experience, the external world must conform to it. It is inevitable. The law of assumption is unfailing. The universe is always working with you, responding to the frequency of your thoughts and beliefs. That's the natural effect of many wish fulfillment. And the moment you believe fully in the reality you desire, that reality will begin to materialize in ways that are beyond your conscious understanding. This is where the true power of imagination comes in. Imagination is not mere fantasy. It is the creative force that shapes your world. When you imagine yourself living in the reality you desire, you are not simply daydreaming or wishing for something that is out of reach. You are tapping into the potential of the universe, aligning your inner state with the parallel reality where your desires are already fulfilled. Your imagination is the vehicle that takes you into this new reality, and it is through the power of your imagination that you can experience all the richness and beauty of the life you have created in your mind. And as you continue to immerse yourself in this imagined reality, you will find that your external world starts to shift. People will begin to show up in your life who reflect your new assumptions. Opportunities will appear, seemingly out of nowhere, to align with the reality you have assumed. Circumstances that once seemed impossible or out of reach will suddenly present themselves as natural, inevitable, and even effortless. The key to this is that you are no longer fighting against the flow of life, but flowing with it. You are no longer resisting the unfolding of your desires. You are allowing them to manifest naturally, trusting that the universe is working with you every step of the way. At times, you may encounter moments of doubt or fear. You may question whether the reality you desire is truly possible for you. This is simply the mind's way of trying to protect itself, of holding on to old beliefs and assumptions. When this happens, gently remind yourself that your assumptions are what create your reality. The moment you choose to shift your focus and reaffirm the truth of your desired reality, you shift your world. The world outside of you cannot hold onto the old assumptions once you choose to embrace a new belief. The power of your consciousness is far greater than anything that might seem to stand in your way. It's crucial to remember that the world outside of you is always changing in response to your inner state. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs are the driving force behind everything you experience. If you want to see a change in your external world, you must first change within. The process is not about forcing things to happen. It is about stepping into the feeling of your desire already fulfilled. It is a state of being, not doing. You are not waiting for the external world to change to match your desire. You are simply choosing to live as though it has already happened, fully embodying the reality you wish to experience. Your emotions play a key role in this process. When you can cultivate the feeling of joy, gratitude, love, and fulfillment as though your desires have already been realized, you are aligning yourself with the vibration of that reality. Emotions are energy in motion, and they carry a frequency that attracts like energy. When you feel good, when you feel the emotions of your desires already being fulfilled, you are sending out a signal to the universe that aligns with the reality you wish to experience. The stronger and more consistent the emotion, the more magnetic it becomes, pulling that desired reality towards you. It is important to remember that your thoughts and beliefs are not just ideas floating around in your mind. They are powerful forces that shape your reality. Your inner world is not something that can be ignored or dismissed. What you hold in your mind becomes your experience. If you are constantly focused on what you don't have or what you fear, you will continue to attract more of the same. However, when you focus on what you desire, when you hold the image of your fulfilled wish in your mind, you are training your consciousness to move in the direction of that reality. You are not waiting for something to happen, you are making it happen. The moment you step into the consciousness of the reality you desire, you are already there. The shift happens in an instant. It is your ability to hold that state of being, to persist in the assumption of your wish fulfilled, that determines how quickly your external reality will shift to match it. In this process, patience is not about waiting for something to happen in the future. It is about maintaining your state of belief and trust in the unseen. You are not waiting for your desires to be given to you. You are simply allowing them to unfold, trusting that everything you need is already on its way to you. The more you focus on the feeling of having what you desire, the less you will feel the need to check or doubt whether it is coming. You will know it is already yours. Your reality is not separate from you, it is an extension of you. You are the creator, and the world is your canvas. Every thought you think, every assumption you make, paints a stroke on that canvas. If you are not satisfied with the picture you see, change your assumptions, change your focus, and begin painting a new one. The brush is in your hands, and you are the artist of your experience. The more you practice this, the more natural it will become. You will begin to see that the external world is not something you have to fight against or change with force. It is something you simply need to align with by assuming the feeling of your desires already fulfilled. When you do this, you will find that life begins to flow effortlessly, and the realities you once thought were distant and impossible will unfold before you as if they were always meant to be. You are not bound by the past, you are not bound by the present, you are free to step into any reality you choose. The power to shift is always within you, and it is always available to you. You need only to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and the world will rearrange itself to match the state of being you have chosen. Trust in this power and know that the reality you desire is already on its way to you. The shift is happening now. In the end, remember that the power to shape your reality lies within you. You are not a passive participant in the unfolding of your life, but the conscious creator of it. Every thought, belief, and assumption you hold is a thread that weaves the fabric of your experience. The moment you shift your assumptions, you shift into a new reality, one where your desires are already fulfilled. It is not the external world that dictates your experience, but your inner state, your consciousness, that shapes the reality you live in. The law of assumption is absolute and unwavering. When you fully embrace the belief that your desires are already yours, the universe must respond to this assumption. It may take time for the physical world to reflect your inner state, but trust that it is already in motion. The key is persistence. Continuing to live as though your desires have already manifested without doubt or hesitation.
Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. These words from Scripture reveal the greatest secret ever told. For your consciousness, your awareness, your assumption is the only reality. The world that appears outside of you is nothing more than the outpicturing of your essence made visible. What you are experiencing now, at this very moment, is simply the harvest of seeds previously planted in the fertile soil of your imagination. Tonight, I shall reveal to you the divine art of assumption, the method by which you may act as if you already possess that which you desire, and through this assumption, command the invisible forces of creation to reshape your world according to your will. The law of assumption. The first and most fundamental truth I wish to impress upon you is this: assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. Let me repeat that eternal principle: assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. What does this mean? It means that when you assume you are what you want to be and continue in that assumption, you will become it in this physical world. When you assume you have what you desire and persist in that feeling, it must externalize itself in your experience. This is not magic, not some mystical phenomenon separate from the natural laws of the universe. This is the very process of creation itself, the same process by which all that exists came into being. In the beginning was the Word. The word consciousness, imagination, assumption precedes all manifestation. Your physical senses tell you what is, but your imagination tells you what can be. And in the realm of creation, what can be imagined as real becomes real in your world. The secret of imagining, I tell you, is the greatest of all problems, to the solution of which the mystic aspires. When you grasp that your consciousness is the one and only reality, you will know that the world you experience is determined by the concept you hold of yourself. Change your concept of self, and you change your world, the creative power of your assumption. Let me illustrate this principle with a simple truth. There is no difference between imagining and what you call reality, except in degree of vividness. The world you perceive is not caused by what exists external to you. Rather, what appears external to you is caused by your state of consciousness. The world, as Neville has often told you, is a mirror wherein everyone sees himself reflected. The conditions and activities of your life are the direct reproduction of your inner states. Nothing appears by chance. Your assumption, your feeling, your dominant state externalizes itself. As within, so without. Consider the words found in Scripture. What things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. This is not a promise of some future attainment. It is the revelation of an immediate possession. Believe that you receive them now in the present moment. This is the secret of acting as if. You must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, not tomorrow, not next week, not when circumstances appear favorable, but now. In the absence of physical evidence, in the face of contradictory appearances, you must dare to assume the feeling of already being, already having that which you seek to manifest. For the feeling is the secret, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Your feeling is your faith, and according to your faith is it done unto you. The assumption of the wish fulfilled. The technique is simple, though its implications are profound. You must first clarify in your mind exactly what you would feel if you were already the person you wish to be, if you already possess that which you desire to possess. Then, having identified this feeling, you must enter into it completely. You must saturate your consciousness with it. You must think from the end, not of the end. This distinction is crucial. To think from the end is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is to experience now what you would experience then. Let me share with you a technique that has proven most effective. Each night as you lie in your bed, just before sleep claims you, assume that you are already that which you wish to be. Feel the naturalness of it. Feel the reality of it. Feel the solidity of it. Then fall asleep in this state. In sleep, man is shut out from the world of the senses. In sleep, his conscious, reasoning mind is no longer active. In this state, your assumption will sink deep into the subconscious, where all changes must first occur before they can manifest in your outer world. What thou seest that thou be, as you fall asleep feeling yourself to be a particular person, you will awaken being that person. While men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat. Sleep in the assumption of your wish fulfilled and allow no negative thoughts, no tares to be sown in the fertile field of your subconscious mind. The law of reversibility. There exists in nature what I call the law of reversibility. This law states that by consciously assuming the feeling of that which you wish to be or to have, and persisting in that assumption, you will experience in the outer world the conditions implied in that assumption. If I desire wealth, I must assume the feeling of wealth. If I desire health, I must assume the feeling of health. If I desire love, I must assume the feeling of being loved. Whatever state I assume and continue to occupy, that state I will objectify in my world. This law of reversibility is demonstrated throughout Scripture, though few have eyes to see it. Go thy way, thy son liveth. The father believed the words that Jesus spoke to him. He assumed health for his son, though his son was miles away and critically ill. And when he returned home, he found his son had been healed at the exact hour that Jesus had spoken to him. This is the law of reversibility in action. The feeling with faith objectifies itself. That is the law. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine with faith becomes your reality. The distinction between wishing and assuming. Mark well the distinction between wishing and assuming. To wish for something is to acknowledge that you do not possess it. It affirms lack, separation, and absence. To assume, however, is to appropriate the consciousness of already having that which you desire. It affirms possession, unity, and presence. Many pray to an external deity, begging for intervention, imploring for mercy or favor. But I tell you, the kingdom of God is within you. The creative power, the only God there is, exists within your own consciousness. Prayer is not begging. Prayer is not supplication. True prayer is assumption, the feeling of already being or having that which you desire. It is thanksgiving before the evidence of physical senses. It is faith, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you pray, do not say, God, please give me this or that. Rather, feel, thank you, other, that I now have this or that. Feel the gratitude that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. This is the true meaning of, before they call, I will answer. The redemptive function of imagination. Imagination is not a state, it is the very existence of man. The eternal body of man is the imagination that is God himself. Your imagination is the very gateway to infinity, the portal through which the unmanifest becomes manifest. When you consciously direct your imagination, you are exercising the divine prerogative of creation. The world and all within it are phenomena of the imagination. Nothing exists outside of awareness. All that appears to you as reality first had to be conceived in someone's imagination. Your imagination is redemptive. Through it, you can be born anew, not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the wish, but of God, of the creative consciousness that is your true identity. When you imagine yourself as the person you wish to be and persist in that imagination until it feels natural to you, you are literally bringing about a rebirth of yourself. You are putting off the old man and putting on the new. This is not metaphor. This is the actual process of transformation, the natural use of the law. Now, let me address a concern that often arises when this law is first understood. Some fear that if imagination creates reality, then mankind might use this power for destructive purposes. But let me assure you, the law itself neutralizes all negative uses of the creative power. For to sustain an assumption, you must feel it to be natural. And no man can feel natural in a state that violates his innate sense of justice. You may temporarily enter into an unlovely assumption, but you cannot abide there. The tension between such an assumption and your divine nature will eventually force you to abandon it. The law itself ensures that in the end, only the good, the beautiful, and the true can endure. For only these states can be felt as natural to man, who in his essence is the image and likeness of God. When you use the law naturally, you use it lovingly. You do not seek to take from another or to harm another. You simply assume the consciousness of already being what you want to be, of already having what you want to have. And in that assumption, you discover that there is enough for all, that creation is infinite, that limitation exists only in the minds of those who believe in limitation. The sevenfold nature of man. Man is a sevenfold being. He has within him 7 states of consciousness, 7 levels of awareness. Most live their entire lives utilizing only the lowest 3, corresponding to the physical body, the vital energies, and the lower emotions. But the law of assumption calls upon you to activate the higher states, the heart center of divine love, the throat center of divine expression, the brow center of divine vision, and the crown center of a divine unity. As you ascend in consciousness through the power of assumption, these dormant centers awaken, bringing with them new faculties, new perceptions, and new powers. Be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. This command is not impossible of fulfillment. It is simply calling you to awaken to your true nature, to assume the feeling of being perfect, whole, complete, as God is. And as you persist in this assumption, the evidence of your transformation will appear in your world, the pruning shears of revision. If you have made mistakes in the past, if your life up to this point has not reflected the glory that you are capable of manifesting, do not despair, for you have at your disposal what I call the pruning shears of revision. Each night, before you sleep, review the events of your day. Where you have fallen short, revise the scene in your imagination. See it not as it occurred, but as you would have liked it to occur. Feel the naturalness of this revised version. Then, fall asleep in this revised state. The vision of Christ that thou dost see is my vision's greatest enemy. Do not accept the evidence of your senses as final. Do not bow before the dictates of memory. You have the power to revise the past in your imagination. And as you do, you rewrite the script of your life. What you revise in imagination with feeling, you experience in reality. This is not fantasy or escapism. This is the creative use of the one power that shapes all manifestation, your consciousness. The pearl of great price. The knowledge I share with you tonight is the pearl of great price, the treasure hidden in a field. It is worth selling all that you have, all your limiting beliefs, all your negative assumptions, all your fears and doubts, to possess it. For when you truly grasp the power of assumption, when you begin to consciously apply it in your life, you will discover that you are the author of your destiny, the creator of your universe. You will know with absolute certainty that the world you experience is simply your consciousness pushed out. I am the resurrection and the life. These words, attributed to Jesus, reveal the true identity of every man and woman. For the I am in you, your own wonderful human imagination, is the resurrection and the life. It can resurrect you from the grave of limitation and breathe new life into your circumstances. When you say, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am loved, you are literally reshaping your reality according to these assumptions. For I am is God's name, the creative power of the universe. And whatever you attach to I am, you bind to your experience. The Sabbath of life. There comes a point in the application of the law where effort ceases. This is the Sabbath, the day of rest, when your assumption feels completely natural to you, when you no longer have to remind yourself to think from the end, when your new state has been fully accepted by your subconscious mind. Then you have entered the Sabbath. In this state, manifestation occurs effortlessly. You do not make it happen. You allow it to happen. Having planted the seed of assumption in the fertile soil of your subconscious, you now watch it grow of its own accord. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who casts seed upon the ground and would sleep and rise night and day, and the seed would sprout and grow. He knows not how. This is the perfect description of the process. You cast the seed, your assumption. Then you sleep, you rest in the certainty that the seed will grow. And it does grow through a process that appears mysterious to the rational mind, but is perfectly natural to the inclination imagination. The intervention of faith. Faith is essential to the successful application of the law of assumption. But faith is not something you acquire. It is something you acquire. Faith is simply the consciousness of already being or having what you desire. It is assumption sustained. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Your faith, your sustained assumption, is the actual substance of that which you desire. It is the evidence perceivable by your spiritual senses, though not yet by your physical senses, that your desire is already fulfilled. Many fail in the application of the law because they constantly check for external evidence. They plant the seed of assumption one moment, then dig it up the next to see if it has grown. This vacillation prevents the seed from taking root. Have faith in the unseen reality of your assumption. Know that the invisible always precedes the visible, that the ideal always precedes the actual, that the spiritual always precedes the material. Trust the process implicitly, and in divine timing, at an hour you think not, your assumption will harden into fact. The art of detachment. While persistence in your assumption is necessary, attachment to specific outcomes can hinder manifestation. This seems paradoxical, but it is a profound truth. You must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, but then detach from how it will manifest. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means trusting in the perfect outworking of the law. It means surrendering the how to the infinite intelligence that orchestrates the universe. Your responsibility is the what, the assumption. The how belongs to God. My ways are not your ways. Neither are my thoughts your thoughts. The bridge of incidents that leads from your present state to your desired state may not follow the path you would consciously choose, but it will be the perfect path specifically designed for you by the wisdom of your own deeper self. Practice detachment by focusing solely on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not on the process by which it will come about. Trust that once you have assumed the consciousness of already being, or having what you desire, the way will open before you. The cosmic response to a mere assumption. What happens when you successfully assume a new state of consciousness? The entire universe rearranges itself to accommodate your new concept of self. This is not hyperbole. It is the literal truth. All things work together for good to them that love God. When you love God, when you align yourself with the creative principle through assumption, all things in your universe conspire to externalize that assumption. People, circumstances, events, the entire fabric of your reality shifts to reflect your new state. This occurs because in truth, there is no out there separate from your consciousness. The world you perceive is your consciousness projected. Change your consciousness, and you change your world, not metaphorically, but actually. Many have experienced this phenomenon. They assumed a new state, perhaps of wealth, health, or love, and suddenly people began treating them differently. Opportunities appeared that had not been there before. Circumstances arranged themselves in ways that facilitated the manifestation of their desire. This is the cosmic response to preemption, the living proof in experience. I do not ask you to believe what I tell you tonight simply because I say it is so. I ask you to test it in the laboratory of your own life. For truth is not truth until it is proven in experience. Take a situation in your life that you wish to change. Perhaps it is financial lack, physical illness, or a troubled relationship. Now, clearly define what you would experience if this condition were transformed according to your desire. How would you feel? What would you see? What would you hear? What would you touch and taste? Having clearly defined this state, enter into it fully in your imagination. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. See from this state, not looking at it as something distant or separate from you. Experience it as a present reality. Then go about your daily life, but maintain this assumption. Think and act from this new state. When doubts arise, as they inevitably will, gently return to your assumption. Persist until it feels natural, until it feels more real to you than the evidence of your senses. Then observe what happens in your world. Notice how people respond to you differently. Notice how circumstances begin to change. Notice how coincidences occur that move you toward the fulfillment of your desire. This will be your living proof of the power of assumption. The divine nature of man. Why does the law of assumption work? Because man in his true essence is divine. Know ye not that ye are gods? This statement from Scripture is not blasphemy. It is the revelation of man's true identity. Your consciousness is God in action. Your I am is the same I am that spoke to Moses from the burning bush. I am that I am. This is the foundation of all creation, the eternal, unchanging reality behind all manifestation. When you say I am, you are invoking the creative power of the universe. And whatever you attach to that divine name becomes your experience. I am is the door through which your assumptions pass into expression. This is why assumption is so powerful. When you assume I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am loved, you are not merely engaging in positive thinking. You are actually appropriating the creative power that shapes worlds. You are exercising your divine prerogative as a son or daughter of God. The one consciousness. There is only one consciousness in the universe. This consciousness individualizes itself as the human imagination, but its essence remains undivided. I and my Father are one. Your consciousness and God's consciousness are one consciousness. This truth has profound implications for the law of assumption. It means that when you assume a state, you are not somehow manipulating external forces. You are aligning yourself with the one power that creates and sustains all things. Moreover, it means that what you assume for yourself affects the whole. No man is an island. Your consciousness is connected to all consciousness. When you elevate your own consciousness through assumption, you contribute to the elevation of all consciousness. This is why the practice of assumption is not selfish or self-centered, even when focused on personal desires. For as you transform yourself through assumption, you transform your world, and your world is part of the world of all beings. The end of manifestation. What is the ultimate purpose of the law of assumption? Is it merely to acquire material possessions, physical health, or harmonious relationships? These are worthy desires, and the law will bring them to you if you apply it correctly. But there is a higher purpose. The ultimate end of the law of assumption is the full realization of your divine nature. It is the complete awakening to who and what you really are. It is the resurrection from the grave of material consciousness into the light of spiritual consciousness. As you practice the law, you will discover that your desires change. That which once seemed so important may lose its appeal. You will find yourself naturally assuming states of higher consciousness, states of love, compassion, wisdom, and service. This transformation occurs because as you prove the law in experience, you come to know yourself as the operant power in your universe. And with this knowledge comes the responsibility to use your created consciousness for the highest good of all. The promise fulfilled. Scripture tells us, behold, I make all things new. This is the promise of the law of assumption. Through the conscious direction of your imagination, you can make all things new in your life. The past does not determine the future, except to the extent that you continue to assume the same states that created your past. Change your assumption and you change your future. It is as simple and as profound as that. Let the weak say, I am strong. This is not positive thinking. It is the revelation of a principle. When the weak man says, I am strong, and persists in that assumption until it feels natural, he will become strong. The assumption presages and determines the fact. Your life is the harvesting of assumptions previously planted. If you do not like what you are harvesting, plant new assumptions. Act as if you are already what you want to be, already have what you want to have. Feel the naturalness of it, the reality of it. And in the appointed hour, your assumption will blossom into fact. The pattern on the mount. In Scripture, we find the instruction, see that thou make all things according to the pattern showed to thee in the mount. The mount is the highest point of consciousness, the state of full awareness of your creative power. From this elevation, you are shown the pattern, the ideal state that you desire to manifest. This pattern is not something external to you. It is within your own consciousness. It is your conception of yourself as you would like to be. Make all things according to this pattern. Conform your thinking, your feeling, your actions to it. Let your entire being resonate with it. This is the essence of acting as if, seeing from the mountaintop and bringing that vision into expression in the valley of manifestation. Those who have climbed this mount and seen the pattern have returned to transform the world. They are the artists, the inventors, the discoverers, the reformers, the visionaries who first imagined what could be, then acted as if it already were, until their assumption hardened into fact. You are called to join their ranks. You are called to ascend the mount of revelation, to see the pattern of your ideal life, and to make all things according to that pattern through the power of assumption. The silent prayer. As we draw to the close of our discussion tonight, I would like to share with you what I call the silent prayer. This is not an appeal to an external deity, but a recognition of your true identity and creative power. I am that I am. I am the Lord, and there is no other. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the vine, and you are the branches. Repeat these statements slowly, feeling their truth, allowing them to sink deep into your consciousness. For these are not merely affirmations, they are the revelation of who you really are. When you say, I am that I am, you are acknowledging your oneness with the creative principle of the universe. You are accepting your divine heritage as a creator, as one who shapes reality through consciousness. This silent prayer, repeated with understanding and feeling, will gradually transform your entire being. It will awaken you to your true nature and purpose. It will reveal to you the limitless power that has been yours from the beginning. The final word. My beloved friends, the hour grows late, but the truth I have shared with you tonight is timeless. It has always been so, though hidden from those without eyes to see or ears to hear. You have been given the master key to life's mysteries, the law of assumption. With it, you can unlock any door, overcome any obstacle, fulfill any desire that springs from the depths of your being. Remember, assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. This is the creative law of the universe, the process by which all that exists came into being. Go forth from this place transformed by what you've heard. Apply the law consciously and consistently in your life. Act as if you are already the person you wish to be. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Live from the end, not toward it. And as you do, you will discover the truth of the words. All things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing ye shall receive. For prayer is assumption, belief is the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and received is the inevitable manifestation of that which you have assumed. The choice is yours, the power is yours, the kingdom is yours. For the kingdom of heaven is within you. It is your own wonderful human imagination, awaking your conscious direction. I leave you with this final thought. Man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. Free yourself from this delusion, and you free yourself from all limitation. Act as if you already are what you wish to be, and that you shall be. This is the promise. This is the law. This is the truth that will set you free. The world is a mirror, forever reflecting what you are doing within yourself. As you assume, so shall your life become. This is the mystery and the wonder of existence. This is the art and science of conscious creation. This is the revelation of the ages, now delivered into your hands. Use it wisely. Use it lovingly. Use it now. And watch as the invisible becomes visible, as the ideal becomes actual, as the spiritual becomes material, as your assumption hardens into fact. For this is the divine art of manifestation, the sacred science of creation, the eternal process by which thought becomes thing and dreams become reality. And now, my friends, I release you to your divine destiny to act as if, to assume the best, to manifest your highest vision through the transformative power of assumption. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Go forth and be what you wish to be. Go forth and have what you wish to have. Go forth and experience what you wish to experience. For you are the resurrection and the life. You are the way, the truth, and the life. You are that which you are seeking. And in the conscious recognition of this eternal truth lies your freedom, your power, and your peace.